Let's try again. For some reason, it was set on unlisted, so I couldn't see you and I couldn't get you to comment on anything. So take 3. Now, I'm going to go back to Florence while you guys are all hopping on. And I just wanted to really look at Florence is excellent for hello, happy thoughts. You got on. Okay, so it's working now. Apologies, everyone. I don't know what the heck went on. Yeah, we're in business. All good. The joys of YouTube tech. Now, I'm going to start. Okay, your questions are coming through, so it's working now. Okay, Denisha, I'm going to start with you. I have met this amazing man. He's younger than me and I have fear it won't work because of the age gap. It's not major. I've been doing work, self, and still getting triggered. Any tips would help. Well, Denisha, it's just your thoughts about age. So if the relationship is good, then you just put your focus on the love, what's working, how good it is, how amazing you are feeling when you're together. And then when you're not together, if you start having fear, you just practice, as I've mentioned many times before, you can practice the Ho'oponopono, you can practice doing, isn't it wonderful what's happening to us now? This is the best relationship ever. I would practice those types of affirmations, okay? It's just keeping your mind in the right groove because it's so easy to get really negative and it's so easy to derail ourselves. Okay, so what you think about and what you focus on is what you get. So if you have fear, it's okay, but it is about really getting your focus on what you want. Okay, and getting better at that because that's a skill. Okay, that is a skill, and we all have to practice that one. Love lifts, you've asked. Well, you've said happy Easter. Yes, happy Easter to you too. How does all this work with boundaries, codependency, and self-respect? Ultimately, we teach people how to treat us. Yes. So if you have self-respect, then you get respect on the outside. If you put others first because you're trying to get love, then that's when you don't get love because you are disrespecting yourself or reducing your battery or over-giving to get love, all these things. So you've got to say, how do I disrespect myself? And if I am, what is it I need to do to correct that? Okay? It might be that you don't cancel your plans to go and jump and be with somebody else, that you say, look, I'm doing this today, but I'd love to see you in a couple of days when I'm free. So if you can do that, if you have that self-respect, then people will respect you. We always teach people how to treat us. Okay? And boundaries about what we will and we won't accept. I think that's good to know. There are some deal breakers in relationships. You know, it might be if you want a monogamous relationship that the person that you are with is monogamous as well, because that's a really big issue for a lot of relationships. One person wants monogamy and then the other person is not necessarily in that train of thought. So, yeah. Okay. Samik Shah. Hi, Agnes. Who do you follow, Florence or Neville? Who has been the driving force of your manifestation journey? Good question. Both. I mean, Florence was the first manifesting book I ever came across years ago. And it was actually this book. As you can see, it's really old and it's full of bits of paper. And this was the very first book I read. And then the second book was The Law and the Promise by Neville. Now, if you are into, especially the specific person topic, you will notice Florence is into praying for the divine design of the person or the divine selection of who you are to be with. She's not really specific person focused, whereas Neville is specific person focused and he manifested a specific person and his specific wife. So it really is just two ways around the circle. You just got to pick who it is that you prefer. I love them both. I think they run like train tracks, one next to each other, even though they think of slightly different things. And they are into slightly different ways of doing it. So just follow whatever feels the best for you. Okay? Now, happy thoughts. Question. My specific person suffers from depression. He takes medication for it. He said he doesn't know how he feels about us anymore because we are long distance. Another excuse. What to do? No contact from him for a month. Okay. Well, it is about really working on yourself, and you can hear all that and know all that about him. However, you sweep your side of the street. Now, what do I mean by that? It's about understanding where he is, but it's, okay, I have to get myself into a state of love. I have to get to myself into maintaining feeling loved and secure and good enough, you see. Because relationships often reflect where we are at. So it's not to judge yourself or criticize yourself, but just to say, this is what I need to work on. If I've got this in front of me, what is it that I need to work on? As in, what do I need to dissolve? Is it my negative thoughts about men, about women, about relationships, about love? Okay, so we all have a collection of thoughts about the opposite sex, or if you're someone who likes to date the same sex, about the same sex as well. But we need to look at what we think, feel, and believe about ourselves, about that gender that we prefer to date, and also what we think about that specific person. Okay? So it really is internal work, external change, internal work, external change. Okay? So I would suggest, have a look at a few things. Have a look at the Everyone Is You Pushed Out playlist. Have a look at the Ho'oponopono playlist. Have a look at the Inner Child YouTubes, and also have a look at practicing some revision, which comes from Neville. Okay? And see how you go with that. Once you learn about those things, it will arm you with a lot more good information to then be able to get to where you want to go a bit more easily. Okay? Especially the Ho'oponopono, because you're dissolving the part of you that sees him as depressed, that hears him as being depressed, that sees him, you know, that we think, oh, well, he can't have a relationship because he's depressed, because he's depressed, because he's depressed. We have to rise up in consciousness and practice our mental diet to improve how we think about others. Okay? Illy, you said third party went away but came back. And the caveat is the SP is still obsessed with me, texting me, expressing love, but obviously not meeting up with me or ending it with her. Not sure how I attracted this. Well, Illy, I would have a look at, do you have any beliefs about I'm second best, I'm not good enough, I'm not important, I don't matter, and start to change those beliefs, if you have them, through affirmations, through working on your self-love, through working on your self-respect, your self-care, all these things, because all of that tips the needle over to people treating you differently. So even though he's expressing love and all of that, if he's not meeting up with you or ending it with her, then you are in a third-party situation and in a I'm second best and I'm not good enough situation. Perhaps think about whether those resonate with you. So have a look at Illy. There is a third-party playlist on my channel, and there's also a first best, second best playlist on this channel. And when you go through those, take some notes and see what you relate to, and then that will give you some information about what you need to work on. Okay? It's not an impossible situation, but it is a lesson. The lesson is in the second best and not good enough areas. I'm not good enough, or I mustn't be good enough, or no matter what I do, I'm never good enough, all of these things. Okay, Illy, good question. Hello, Anna. Bisous to you in France as well, my love. Wonderful. Okay, okay, here we go. Nalini, your question has just come up. I am scared to talk to my SP why he is not messaging me now, what to do. Nalini, I wouldn't bring that up. Okay, come from the place that no one owes me anything and what he gives is enough. Okay? If you come from that place, that's a more loving, relaxed place. So if you start saying to someone, why aren't you messaging enough? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? What that says about you is, I'm dissatisfied, I'm dissatisfied, I'm dissatisfied. And that gets projected out, and then you get a photocopy of that, and you don't want that. Relax, let go, focus on your self-love and self-worth, and learn to radiate love to this person. There's, I think, 2 or 3 meditations to radiate love to another person on my channel, excuse me. So if you can practice doing that and coming from a place of giving rather than from a place of getting, then you are in a much better position. Okay, you must improve your self-love and self-worth rather than trying to get more from someone, because he is not your source of validation, reassurance, love, all these things. That's why people often step back, because they feel that pressure energetically, you see. Okay? Okay. Samina, you've said, I want to contact or connect a call or a meeting with someone I've never met or saw their picture. Not having their contact details, so how to attract this? Well, I would do some visualization as best you can. If you've never seen their picture, you obviously know of them in some way, shape, or form. So, you know, I would write down as much detail as you can, and then have a look at the Living in the End playlist, Samina, on this channel, and start applying the Living in the End to this particular situation. Okay? Without more information about your situation, I can't really comment anymore, but that will give you a starting point. Okay? So, SR, what do dreams mean when sometimes favorable about the SP? Well, I can't really say, darling, because I'm not an expert on dreams, but I will say that what we think and feel in our waking life is often what gets echoed in our dream life. So anything that's really important and anything that you really, really, really love, or anything that you really, really fear, seems to be echoed in the dream world. So, you know, if it's a favorable dream, then that sounds like a positive thing to me. I don't think that sounds like a negative thing. I think that sounds like something wonderful, because I know when people have fears about SPs, especially around, let's say, infidelity or cheating or things like that, they often dream about it. Okay, so it's often your fears get echoed and your loves get echoed. So Lisa, no, I haven't done a live with Josiah, but I did, we have done a couple of discussions together. I can't even remember if it was on my channel or his. So if you just put my name and Josiah's name into my channel, like his full name and my full name, then yeah, I would check and see if I've done anything like that. Okay, Roop, you said, I don't like to repeat things and persistence demands repetition. I want to manifest SP. How do I make an interesting routine? Well, if you don't like repeating things, I would suggest you practice getting into a state of love and then radiating that love out to your person. Some people don't like doing affirmations. They don't find it wonderful. They don't find it interesting, and they don't want to do it. So you've got to pick parts of LOA that you like and that you're interested in and that you feel excited about. If something feels like a chore, that's the wrong energy to put into it. So it really is something that we have to, you know, try different things. Try a vision board, try scripting, try affirmations, try meditations, try imagining, try a visualization, try the automatic writing. There are so many ways to do the attraction and the manifesting. So make it fun. I mean, when I was trying to manifest 6 figures, as in income, a dream job, meaningful work that I loved, a wonderful relationship, and travel, you know, I did a lot of imagining, and I did it for a couple of hours every day. And it was, you know, something that I just wanted to do. I wanted to be by myself, and I wanted to put that energy into that because I wanted to change the life that I had. So I put in the effort. So it's okay if you don't like repetition, but you might want to practice getting into a state of love and learning to send it out. And there are meditations for that in particular. Okay? Now, Whitney. Agnes, my SP, told me he's completely moved on from me. It's so hard to live in the end now. Any tips? Well, yes, you can, Whitney. I would suggest go to the revision playlist, okay? Because sometimes, well, my SP said to me, you're not for me, you're not for me. And we've been together now for over 10 years. So I really focused on revising what I'd heard, because what I'd heard was really hurtful. So it's like you got to delete that within yourself, the pain of hearing really bad information. I mean, we do need to surrender and let go as well, and respect someone's words for that time. But also, I think it's about really, as Neville talks about, you've got to clean up and revise the past. And the past might be a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago. Whenever you heard this, go back to the moment just before he said it, and then revise it how you would have preferred it to go. And then what that does is it unhooks you from the ugh of hearing that news. So rather than living in the end, which in this case I think is too difficult, my tips, Whitney, would be go and do the revision parts. There is also some revision meditations on my meditation channel. So if you just go to YouTube, put in my name and put the word revision, it will take you to both channels that have the information. And I would work solidly on that, and probably do it for about a month, Whitney, so that you get better at it. Okay? Now, okay. Inna. What to do if my own family disrespects me, and when my own sister used me when she needed support but completely abandoned me when I was in hard times, feeling lonely and miserable, feel like an orphan. Okay. Yeah, I mean, family of origin, this is where a lot of this stuff begins, and this is often where a lot of us have to really work on, you know, the pain of what comes up with family. So I would suggest, if you can, there are 2 inner child meditations on my meditation channel. I would try and do one of those about 3 times a week and let the emotion out, because you are continuing to create the the repetitive pattern. Okay, what happens then creates, I'm not supported, I'm used, they don't care about me, they're just takers, you know, these thoughts that we have about family. So if you can really clean up your emotion from the past where this all started, and then if you want to, try writing a script. I'm happy and grateful now that I feel respected, I feel secure, I feel supported. I love that the more I respect myself, the more I am respected by my family. The more I respect myself, the more I'm respected in relationships. Okay? So it really is about writing a script. Write it exactly how you want it. You know, that I have wonderful, loving relationships with my family, etc., etc. Okay, now I am just going to PIHU. If you make any more comments, I will be removing you from this chat. Okay? Enough. Okay, so this is not, yeah, you know what I'm going to say, so I'm not going to say it. Zaina, hello. Lately I've gotten out of meditating and self-affirming. How do you keep maintaining that throughout the years? How do you keep being productive in any area? Zaina, good question. You know what? I don't think it's a straight line. I think there are times where you do it a lot, other times where you ease off, other times where you really enjoy it, other times where you might be living with people and you just don't have the space for it, other times where it's summer and you can go lay in the park and do it, other times you're working too much and you just go to bed and you just fall asleep. So don't worry, okay? I think it's just the ebb and flow of life, and it's going to be something that you know is there, it's in your toolbox, and that you do it as often as you can, okay? So it's don't hold yourself like you've got your foot on the back of your own neck. Allow yourself to come in and out of it. It's all right. And just say, you know, if I'm really, really not doing well, well, then maybe I need to, not doing well, I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, and things on the outside aren't working. Then just say, okay, this is something I need to build in a little bit more and I need to be a little bit more diligent, so I'm going to do that. And then, you know, sometimes you're out and it's summer and you're out in nature, you're out with friends and you're working and all these things, and it is great. So you don't need to be meditating or affirming as much as you used to because you're already feeling good. The idea is to do these things to raise your vibe and to feel better. So yeah, don't worry about it. Go easy. Inner, no problem. Yeah, that's the way. Jay, I have been receiving little contact from SP, who is one of my closest friends. I've been affirming that we're in a loving, committed relationship. Okay. Sounds like you've got a clear affirmation. That works. And, you know, you carry on. Keep going. Hey, Owen. Hugs to you, darling. So, yeah. It's ongoing, this LOA manifesting work. I mean, I started when I was in my, 17 when I first started, and then I left it for many years because I didn't care about it, and then I went back to it. And, you know, eventually over the years I got more serious about it as I got more difficulty in my life, and I just continued to improve, you know, a loving relationship with a specific person, my finances, my dream job, being able to travel, you know, like I have now. My mum's here with me. I went to Australia, picked her up, spent 3 months there, brought her back. So things just get easier as you surrender more, you let go more, you get more into a loving state, you respect yourself, and you are honest about how you feel about certain things, but also you don't dump your feelings and emotions on people as best you can, that you take responsibility, especially with Ho'oponopono. Okay? Step at a time. Turtle wins a race. I'm not against things manifesting quickly because they can. But if they don't, you know, don't beat yourself with a stick. Oh. Curtie, hi, and yes, I remember you were going to do free workshop on one of Neville's books. Can we still send you the mail to be part of it, please? Yes. Yes, my lovely. Just email me. My email address is in the description of every single YouTube, and just say, hey, I want to do the Neville workshop. It starts the 7th. It's next Sunday, the 7th of April. Okay? So yeah, no problem. And it is free, and it is for the book At Your Command. That's the one we're going to be doing. Well, I'm going to do about another 10 minutes, people. If you want to ask a few more things, go ahead. The comments pop up in groups, and then, you know, then I don't see any for a bit. So, Curtie, my pleasure. Jay, I'm struggling with being in a state of being in the loving, committed... No, okay. Forget the state of being in a loving, committed relationship. Just get into a state of love. It's not about getting the committed relationship to make you feel like you're in a secure, loving thing. You have to be in a state of love and radiating that out. Okay? It's like, don't put the cart before the horse, as they say. Okay? So practice, I am love. May divine love be made alive in me. May wonderful things happen to me. The unexpected happens. Okay? All of these wonderful general affirmations that make you go, oh, I've got everything I want. I've got everything I need. And then the part goes, no, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, but wouldn't it be nice if I did? Wouldn't it be nice if I was in a loving, romantic, committed relationship? Wouldn't it be nice if I felt that I had so much money I could do what I want? Wouldn't it be nice if? That comes from Abraham Hicks. I think that's one of her most wonderful things that she does. Okay, Roop, you've said, I have one more question. If you could answer it, please. I feel helpless in forgiving me for hurting me in my childhood. Yeah, it fills me with anger and hate towards them, and I try to practice forgiveness. Okay, Roop, yeah, I understand. I mean, this sounds like it's an easy area, but it's not. It's not. But it is definitely possible to unhook yourself. What I would suggest, there is... If you go to, on this channel, there is a Ho'oponopono playlist, okay? Now, in that playlist, I'm reading out of a little book, and it's a Ho'oponopono book. Each chapter I read, there is a video for that. Now, at the end of the video, there is a little exercise to do. Okay? So, if you can listen to the video and then do the little exercises, then what you do is you're sweeping your side of the street, as in you're helping yourself to forgive yourself. The Ho'oponopono is about self-forgiveness. It's about forgiving others too, but it's about often forgiving the self for putting the self in situations that caused us harm. And when we were children, we couldn't help it because we were at the mercy of being around adults. So I would suggest go through that Ho'oponopono playlist. You can do that for free. Also, if you can practice the Ho'oponopono meditations a lot, the Ho'oponopono is a cleaning tool. So you will often have emotions come up, and you will often have, if there's hurt, pain, it will be released as you practice Ho'oponopono. I've got 2 or 3 meditations which I recommend. One's a 40-minute Ho'oponopono one, and the other one is an 8-hour one, especially when you can't sleep. For those of you that wake up in the night and you've got something going on, and it's freaking you out and you can't sleep or you can't get back to sleep, practice that. Use the Ho'oponopono to do the cleaning. It is there to clean out the old memories that keep us in reoccurring patterns, because that's why we get triggered off today a lot of the time. Someone does something, and it's not the fact that it happens today. I mean, yes, we have an emotion about that, but the voltage of the emotion is because of all the stuff that happened before that reminds us of it, you see. So I would suggest you practice that. The meditations, do them regularly, do the cleaning, clear out, because the body's like a suitcase and it just stores a lot of old emotions. And as we store it, someone does something, it scratches open that old raw pink nerve, and then we go back into that emotional stuff that we had back then. Okay? Now, Andrea, why the men I'm interested in end up always being already in a relationship? Well, Andrea, ask yourself this. Do any of these ring a bell? I'm not good enough, I'm second best. I'm second best to other women, or if you're dating women, I'm not sure if you date, no, you said you're dating men. So to other women. Why are the men I'm interested in, there must be an I'm not good, there's an I'm not good enough in me. So ask yourself, do I feel not good enough, and where does that come from, and start to do some work on that. Okay? So the second best stuff, the I'm not good enough stuff, it's really the old childhood issues. So if you can go back and remember some of the memories, if you can't, don't worry, just do the inner child meditations, and the inner child, you're saying in that meditation, you let them go. I don't need to know what they are. You remember what they are. Let the memories go. Okay? So I would practice that, Andrea, and see if you can do it fairly regularly, like once or twice a week, the inner child work. Okay? Okay. Oh, uplifted empath. Hi, Agnes. What affirmations techniques would you suggest to manifest my mum who has cancer back to health, please? Okay. This is something close to my heart because not that my mum had cancer, but someone extremely close to me had that for the last year and a half. Now, what I would suggest is if you can there's a meditation to help heal a loved one. Okay, I did a voice only and I did a version with music. Okay, and I actually created that for myself so I could practice with the person in my life. Okay, so it's a really lovely little meditation where you take someone's hand, you're out in nature, you put them into this beautiful natural green leaf sleeping bag, you zip them in, and you basically know that they're getting the healing and the recharging from nature, because as we know, nature emits oxygen and we emit carbon dioxide, and we have a exchange. So when they are in the little zip up sleeping bag, they are recharging, nature is healing them, and you can do that many, many, many different times a week. You know, I used to, when I had a lot of fear, and I did have a lot of fear of my person that I know in my life dying, I had a huge fear of that, and it would wake me up in the night. So I thought, rather than being in this state which doesn't help them or me, let me focus on doing this meditation, and that I'm focusing on healing, focusing on healing, focusing on healing. Okay? So I would try that, my love. And meditation to help heal a loved one are the key words. Okay? All right. Celestia, how to have a bulletproof foundation for self-love. I frequently feel ungrounded and unsure of myself. I doubt if I will ever truly feel genuine self-love that radiates. Okay. Well, I don't think it's something you have to have totally bulletproof. Like, I've been doing it 30 years, Celestia, and I still have days where, I might be tired, I might have worked too much, I might have had an argument with someone, or someone's annoyed with me, or whatever, and all of that affects the self-love and how you feel. But it's like, okay, I'm going to aim to do it to the best of my ability. All I got to do is from morning till bedtime. Let me see if I can work on the physical self-love, the mental self-love, the emotional self-love, and the spiritual self-love. I actually just released a course, Celestia, and it is a self-love beginner's course, and it is talking about those 4 levels. It is on my website if you actually want to work through that. If you don't, you can do the free self-love meditations. There's also the free self-love success stories playlist, and there is, if you just put interview self-love after my name, you will see I've had many discussions with people about the topic of self-love. So just get little bits over the years, bit by bit by bit. I mean, my self-love is definitely better than it was in my 20s or in my teens. But, I'm in my 50s now. Will it be better in my 60s and 70s? Probably, because I will have worked on it for another 15, 20 years. So it's like you just get better at it as you go, and you just keep increasing it, learning a bit more about it, hearing more tips from people. And that's why the self-love success stories are really good, because people share what they did and how they did it. Okay? And try and say to yourself, it's progress, not perfection. And I will feel genuine self-love sometimes more than others, but I will aim to just get better at it slowly over time. And that's enough. Don't have your foot on the back of your own neck going, you have to do better, because that criticism just makes things worse. Okay? Okay. I'm going to take a couple more questions. Enes, Please help to answer how to manifest an SP without knowing if they would fulfill the partner qualities list that I have. I'm very confused here. Well, it's about you work on yourself, and I would suggest you write a list of what you're going to offer as well as the quality list of what you would like to have. Okay, I would also get to know people slowly and see if it reveals that they have the qualities that you really would like to have in a relationship and in a partnership. I'll tell you, I see this a lot. People have sex too quick, too fast. Now, for men, I don't think that's a problem. Men have an ability to separate sex and love, in my opinion. Women, not so much. We have them together. It's like if the sex is good, then we love the person and we want to be with them more and we want a relationship most of the time, for most women. So I think as women we have to be careful that if don't give sex when you want love, and get to know someone, get to know their qualities. And then when it's working, then you go, okay, now I'm ready to say, look, if you want to continue with this and we are going to have that amazing chemistry that we have and physically enjoy it, then I just don't have relationships unless I'm, as in, I don't have sex unless I'm in a relationship. Does that sound old-fashioned? Yeah. Does it work? Yes. Because, and I'll tell you, I work with a lot of people that they do have sex too quick, too fast, and then they get attached, and then they want more, but the other person is used to you giving sex when you haven't set any boundaries for yourself or any parameters about relationships. So I would suggest get to know people slowly, see who they are as a person, see what qualities they have, and then you basically notice how it goes, okay? Yeah, so it's important. Lisa Marie, women attach through sex. Men don't. As they say, women look for love and find sex. Men look for self. I think you mean sex there. Look for sex and find love. Yeah, it's like we got to kind of meet in the middle, and neither one of them's right or wrong. It's just we come around the circle in a different way. So it's protect yourself emotionally while you're enjoying yourself. Slow release, because there's too quick, too fast. I can tell you, the rabbit doesn't win the race. I see so many rabbits and they come to me for coaching and they are in these scenarios that we're discussing here today. So if you want to have a wonderful, romantic, committed, loving relationship, respect yourself. The other person will respect you. Get to know the person, enjoy them, and then savor the not having sex. And then when you have it, it's fantastic because you've been waiting for it. It's like booking a holiday and you've got to wait 2 months to go. It's fun. It's exciting. Okay? Now, Laszlo, you have said, what do you think about how even wars can be nothing more than temporary trends for the powerful ones? Laszlo, that's a really big question. And it's really not a rabbit hole I'm going to go down, darling, because it is the collective consciousness of countries, of governments, of people, and all of that. So, you know, it's just too big a topic for me to comment on, darling. Okay, that's about as much as I can say without it being a really lengthy discussion. So, yeah, and I know you and I have talked about many things over the time, but yeah, that's a really big one, darling. It's a really big one. NS, my pleasure, my pleasure. Well, I'm going to answer 1 or 2 more questions. Harry, hello. New subscriber, hello to you, darling. Hello from India. Lisa Marie, come from an open heart. Lovely. That's the way. That's the way. I know you commented on something that I've missed. Ruth, overcoming anxious attachment. Well, it is about firstly clearing the old, because the anxiousness comes from childhood. Anxiousness is fear, and fear comes from the past. It comes from childhood. So It is about clearing the neediness, clearing the fear, clearing the anxiety. It's releasing from the suitcase of our body those emotions from that time. I think doing some writing in a journal, letting the emotions out, letting the hurt out, the crying out, making time for that is really, really important. And I mean, that was my attachment style, Ruth. I was definitely one of those. And, you know, I don't really suffer from that. I'm not saying I never get anxious. Maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year about something. But, you know, I used to have anxiety all the time, especially that neediness, the fear of not being loved, the fear of being alone, the fear of being rejected, the fear of being not good enough, all of that. So, yeah. Okay, last one for today. Happy thoughts. Agnes, what happens if a psychic says one thing? How does that impact manifesting? Well, firstly, this is my thoughts on psychics. I wouldn't go to them for relationship stuff. Why? Because I hear every single week how much they have planted seeds in people's heads. And it happened to me about 15 years ago, and I couldn't sleep or eat for about 3 months from what was said. So it's a psychic really is reading where you're at, reading your fears. You go to psychics because you have doubt. So the psychic reads your doubt, it reads your fear, it reads your inadequacy. So, you know, I would suggest you think about how can I fortify and learn to regulate myself better so I no longer need to rely on psychics for relationship stuff. I think they can do really good work with the police for finding missing children and missing bodies and all of that. But I think for relationships, I'll be honest, I don't think that it's a great idea, because I hear so many of you when you come for coaching or in emails to me or in comments in threads that you have been traumatized or disturbed by what someone has said. Now, if they say something positive, you're waiting around for it to happen. When it doesn't happen, you get devastated, or they've told you something negative about you're never going to be with that person, and then you are completely crushed because your dream is shattered. So you've got to protect yourself mentally and emotionally from putting yourself and your emotional state in other people's hands. Okay? Learn to regulate yourself. Learn to do your self-love work. I'm not saying you never talk to anyone at all. It's not about that. But if you're trying to manifest a relationship, talk to someone who's got a good relationship and has had one for a long time and is maintaining it. Okay? And I'm talking about family members, counselors, coaches, therapists, YouTubers, whoever it is that you listen to. Make sure they have what you want so that you know you're getting sound advice. That would be the first thing I would say. How does it impact manifesting? Your second part of your question. It depends on what you believe about it. If you just go, oh no, that's BS, I don't believe that, if they've told you something negative and you hold steady, no problem. It'll be like water off a duck's back. But if you go, oh my goodness, what if that's true? I'm never going to get what I want. They've said I'm never going to be with this specific person, or I'm never going to get married, or I'm going to be single till the day I die. You have planted that seed in your head. Well, they did, and then you germinated it. So this is why I say you must be very careful who you give access to up here. Okay? 7 sorrows, no worries. You know what? There's been a time change in the UK, and I think this is going to muck a few people up. I only noticed the time change this morning, and I put a post up saying, hey, 6 o'clock UK time is now going to be different from 1 hour. So, but you can rewatch the recording, and then you won't miss it. Okay? Now, everyone, big hugs, lots of love. I'll see you again. And thank you for your questions. Thank you for joining in. And as always, it's really good to break down the mechanics of this with you guys, because it gives me the real time, what you're wanting to know, where you're at, what you're working on. And, you know, life is, the game of life is not the easiest thing. So it's trying to make it as easy for ourselves as we can. And I'm here to help as best I can, to be of service to you. Bring your questions, ask what you need to ask, make comments in the threads of this, because it will get uploaded. Put the comments down in the thread, and then we can nut things out, continue to nut things out. Okay. Caviar, that's good. First time catching me live. Big hugs. It will be around this time all the time because it's just that way it makes it easier for you guys to know when it is in your country and in what time zone. My pleasure, Ina. My pleasure. Lots of love, everyone. And I will see you in April once again. Lots of love and see you soon.